People often think America's power comes from its military. But in 1944, when the United States held nearly 70% of the world's gold, and most other countries were running out of money just to survive, the rules of the global system were written without a single shot being fired. 730 delegates from 44 countries signed what looked like a financial agreement to rebuild the world after war. In reality, it was a move prepared in advance designed to place the United States at the center of every transaction, every flow of money. And to this day, that system has not truly collapsed. Because almost every country on Earth, whether allied with the US or against it, still needs the dollar to survive in the global economy. Before the rules were announced, there was already a massive imbalance. During the Second World War, most countries had to pour everything they had into survival. Factories were bombed, railways were cut, money lost value month by month. America was different. The war did not reach US soil. Factories were not destroyed. Workers still went to work every morning. In less than 5 years, the United States became the factory of the world. Guns, tanks, food, not for free. Most of it was sold on debt. Other countries borrowed to buy. America kept the records. As the war was coming to an end, the numbers started to show. Europe was exhausted, debt on top of debt, and the United States held most of the cash and assets that could be used immediately. At that point, the world fell into a very simple situation. Whoever had the money had the voice. No orders were needed, no threats, just waiting. Other countries needed a way to trade again. They needed a system to exchange goods, repay debt, and rebuild from scratch. And when they began looking for new rules, there was only one place to look. The only place with enough money to be the center. The rest was just the legalization of an order that already existed. As the war was coming to an end, the world faced a very simple problem. How to trade again, how to repay debt, how countries could exchange goods without trusting each other. Every country had its own currency, but no one trusted anyone else's money. German money had collapsed. French money was weak. British money was no longer strong enough. If every currency had to be traded directly, the whole system would jam. Nothing would move. So they needed something in the middle. One currency everyone could accept. And at that moment, there was only one real option: the currency of a country, holding most of the world's cash and usable assets. In July 1944, representatives met in Bretton Woods. On paper, it was an equal meeting. One country, one vote. But outside the room, the balance was already decided. The agreement was simple. Each country could keep its own currency, but its value had to be tied to the US dollar. And the US dollar was tied to gold, $35 for 1 ounce of gold. Put simply, if you were a small country, you did not need to hold gold. You only needed to hold dollars, because dollars could be exchanged for gold anytime, at least on paper. From that moment on, the dollar became the middle currency of the world. Not because it was better, not because it was more ethical, but because it was the easiest to use. Want to buy from another country? Pay in dollars. Want to repay international debt? Use dollars. Want safety reserves? Hold dollars. No one was openly forced, but everyone understood. If you stayed outside this system, you stayed outside global trade. And in a world just leaving a war, that was not a real choice. That was how Bretton Woods was born. It looked reasonable. It looked stable. And for many years, it worked very well. So that almost no one questioned it. Until one small detail started to matter. The number of dollars in the world was growing faster than the gold the United States could actually exchange. After the rules were set, something very strange began to happen. Other countries had to be careful with their money. Print too much, and the value falls. People suffer. But for the United States, the story was different. When the US printed more dollars, the world did not reject them. They kept them, not because they liked America, but because they needed dollars to trade. This system did not reward saving. It rewarded the one issuing the currency the whole world needed to use. Every time a country exported goods, it received dollars in return. And instead of spending all those dollars, they stored them as reserves, like a child keeping tickets to an amusement park. Not to use today, but to make sure they could play tomorrow. Slowly, a loop began to form. The United States spent money abroad. Dollars flowed out into the world. The world kept those dollars and sent them back to the United States in the form of loans, most commonly by buying U.S. government bonds. Put simply, the United States printed money, used that money to buy goods, and the very people who received the money lent it back to the United States. The system did not stop this. It encouraged it. The more dollars circulated, the easier the system was to run, and the more countries depended on it, the more America's central role was reinforced. This was not cheating, not a scam. This was how the system was designed to work smoothly. For many years, this was seen as a good thing. The world had one shared currency. Trade expanded rapidly. Growth exploded. But every system has limits. And the limit of this system was not trust. It was something very physical. Gold. For many years, everything ran smoothly. Dollars were printed. The world used them to trade, then stored them as a safe asset. But then, some people started to notice something. They looked at America's gold reserves, and they looked at the number of dollars circulating outside the country. Those two numbers no longer matched. Under the old rules, every $35 had to be exchangeable for 1 ounce of gold. But by the late 1960s, the amount of dollars outside the United States was far greater than the gold sitting in its vaults. Put simply, it was like a toy store. Too many tickets were sold, but the number of toys in storage did not increase. At first, no one said anything, because everyone trusted the system, until a few decided to redeem their tickets, not for small toys, but for everything. France was one of the first. They brought in their dollars and asked for real gold, not a threat, just following the rules. Other countries watched and started thinking the same way. If it could be exchanged now, why wait? America's gold reserves began to thin very fast. By 1971, if everyone came to exchange at once, the United States would not have enough gold to pay. At that point, the system was no longer theoretical. It became a matter of survival. The U.S. president at the time had only two choices. 1, keep exchanging dollars for gold until the vaults were empty. 2, end the game. In August 1971, the United States chose the second option. They announced that the dollar could no longer be exchanged for gold. No international meeting, no vote, no permission, just one statement. The world froze. The old rules died overnight. At the time, many people thought, it is over. No gold, no backing. The dollar will collapse. But that did not happen, because while everyone was still looking at gold, the United States had prepared something else, something the modern world could not live without, and it was buried underground, not in a vault. After 1971, the dollar was no longer tied to gold. On paper, it was just paper. No metal, no backing. If things worked the way people believed, this should have been the moment the system collapsed. But it did not happen, because while the world was still arguing about gold, the rules were rewritten somewhere else, not in banks, not in treasuries, but in oil. In the early 1970s, oil was the blood of the modern economy. Without oil, cars did not move, planes did not fly, factories stopped, and the United States understood one simple thing. If every country had to buy oil, and oil was sold only in dollars, then the dollar no longer needed gold. It became essential by itself. In 1974, the United States reached an agreement with Saudi Arabia. The U.S. provided security, supplied weapons, supported the regime. In return, oil will be sold only in U.S. dollars. After that, the model spread across OPEC. The result was clear. Want to buy oil? You need dollars. Want dollars? You must sell goods to the United States or borrow in dollars. The rules did not force anyone, but there was no other path. Gold no longer mattered. Oil took its place, and from there a new loop formed. Oil exporting countries earned hundreds of billions of dollars, but they did not spend it all. They sent it back to the United States in the form of government bonds. Put simply, the United States printed money. The world used that money to buy oil, then brought the money back to lend it to the United States. This system did not reward discipline. It rewarded central position, and anyone who tried to step outside soon learned the cost of breaking the rules. Not always bombs, sometimes sanctions, sometimes frozen money. The system did not need to explain itself. It only needed to keep running. Today, oil is slowly losing its position. New energy sources are emerging. Other currencies are starting to be mentioned. Up to this moment, the dollar has not lost its throne, not because it is perfect, but because nothing else has replaced it. The U.S. financial market remains the largest in the world. Every day, trillions of dollars in U.S. government bonds are traded. Fast, easy, and with buyers ready at any moment. No other place can do this. Europe has the euro, but the system is split across many countries. Many laws, many conflicting interests. China has the yuan, but the currency is still tightly controlled. It cannot move freely in and out. For large flows of money, that is unacceptable, so the dollar remains. Not because it is loved, but because it is used. But one important change is happening. The world no longer wants to place everything in one place. Central banks are holding more types of currencies. Bilateral trade in local currencies is increasing. New payment systems are being tested, not to overthrow the dollar, but to avoid total dependence on it. The throne has not fallen, but it no longer stands alone. This does not signal an immediate collapse. It signals something else, something more dangerous. Fragmentation, a world without a single set of rules, but many smaller rules layered on top of each other, where money no longer flows smoothly. It has to avoid barriers, change direction, pay higher costs. The old system created stability, but concentrated power. The new system promises more freedom, but is more fragile. And here, the real question is not, which currency will replace the dollar? It is this: when there is no longer one currency, sitting at the center of every transaction, who will write the next rules? And this time, will it still happen in silence, like it did in 1944? If this system has been shaping your life, without you ever seeing it, what part of it do you think we are ignoring today? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you want more stories about how power actually moves, not how it is advertised, you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We will keep looking at the systems that prefer to stay invisible.